is the Foul-Mouthed Aussie, and you're listening to that wrestling podcast, and it fucking sucks!
Welcome to That Wrestling Podcast. It's Money, it's Clyde, and we're going to talk a little wrestling, baby. You ready, brother?
That's right, baby. Been flare walking through the lobby all day, brother.
I like that, brother. I like that. So, did you retire the PS Hayes walk?
I'm not for sure, man. I did the PS Peacock walk the other day, about pulled my butt muscle out, brother.
Don't want to pull a glute, brother. Don't want to do that, brother.
Hardcore.
So other than all the stylish walking that you're doing, anything else new with your brother? What else is going on with you?
That's about it, brother. Just getting a lot of stylish walking in on my, days off. Got to get that in, get that cardio in, brother.
Speaking of getting it in, brother, we got a lot to get into today. Alexa Bliss is back. I don't know if you've seen that or not. We've got the Raw ratings from last week we're going to talk about and touch on. Nakamura opened up on how long he plans to wrestle. Get well soon, Mickie James. Evidently, she's out with an injury. Segment 2, we're going to talk a little bit about Ric Flair's Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling. Johnny Moxley arrives at the NJPW dojo to train for his upcoming match against Juice, baby. I believe that's tonight, actually. Dustin Rhodes touches on a call he made with Triple H on the most recent episode of Talk is Jericho. It's like an emotional moment he had with Triple H. I don't know if you heard about that. Going to play a little bit of random wrestling knowledge with Clyde. Got a cool Bleacher Report article we're going to talk about Rusev and 5 other wrestlers that would potentially fit in well with AEW. Just a little bit of speculation we're going to do. Man, got a lot to get into today. At some point, we're going to talk a little bit of Super Showdown, brother. You ready to hop into all this?
Yes, sir. Let's get it in.
Let's get it in. Speaking of getting it in, I don't know if you've seen last night, but Alexa Bliss, or I guess the night before last, but Alexa Bliss was back, brother. What do you think?
I couldn't have been happier, man. She's my favorite female superstar of all time, one of my favorites ever. So, yeah, I was thrilled to see her back. I feel like we could be heading towards her and Nikki Cross being tag team champions on one show and her winning the SmackDown title on another. I mean, I feel like Bliss is in full force again, brother. Yeah,
full force. She's she's taking full advantage of that new wild card rule, huh? She's just going to pop up everywhere, brother.
It's fine with me. More Alexa Bliss, I think, brings more ratings and more entertainment, especially for folks like us that are big fans of Miss Bliss.
Absolutely. Who doesn't need a little more Alexa in their lives, brother? And like you said, I think anytime Alexa's on the show, man, it's just it's more compelling for the audience. I mean, she's such a good character, brother. Does her job so well. And so she came in last night and actually won a triple threat match just right off the bat, brother. So do you think they're doing a good job just kind of inserting her back into the picture, right back where she needs to be?
Oh, yeah, man. I love it. It feels like they're booking her strong on both shows. I know we talked about this on a episode in the past where I said, I was a little worried about her. Felt like she was getting lost in the shuffle. It does not feel like that right now. It feels like she's getting pushed right to the front where I believe she belongs.
Yeah, I agree with you, brother. And speaking of where stuff belongs, Raw's ratings have not been where they belong for the last few weeks. I don't know if you've noticed that they've kind of been tanking. Have you heard the news about that?
Yeah, I have, and I heard that they're looking a little better here lately.
Yeah, this past episode that had Undertaker and Lesnar on it were evidently just what the doctor ordered for WWE's anemic ratings, brother, because viewership, let's see here, on the Memorial Day episode, that would be 2 weeks ago, viewership was an average of 2.19 million viewers. And this past week's show, the show drew an average of 2.41 million viewers, so up over 10%, from last week.
Yeah, you got Goldberg, check, you got Undertaker, check. That's a good thing that the ratings are up, but at the same time, you're looking at it like, man, these guys ain't going to be able to do this forever. Some of these younger guys got to become the stars that these gentlemen are.
That's what I was wondering, how much longer can the WWE rely on these legends to kind of, boost ratings and garner attention for the brand? when I don't know what do you think has like where's the disconnect? Why haven't they been able to kind of brand new stars over the past decade? It seems like they've struggled with that.
I think a lot of it is a lot of the guys our age, man, longing for the yesteryear. My favorite year of wrestling's 1997. How long ago was that? But I still watch. I think WWE's just got to figure some of the things out, and they got to build true superstars, man. They're going to bring in those big ratings again.
Yeah, I agree, brother. I think they just need to. Do you think like the 50-50 booking has kind of hurt them? Like the kind of like everybody's a superstar nowadays. Like, does that kind of like hinder someone from excelling and kind of becoming the face?
Yeah, I think so. A lot of times you see matches, every week that could be WrestleMania main events, 20 years ago. But it's like everybody's got to be a major star. Well, it usually don't work like that in wrestling, man. You got to have the in-between guys. You got to have the beginning guys. You got to have a little bit of everything.
Yeah, definitely, brother. You got to mix it up there, brother. And speaking of, got to have a little bit of everything. This guy's done a little bit of everything. Shinsuke Nakamura, he's preparing to wrestle against Seth Rollins at WWE's upcoming event in Singapore. It's called. It's like a one-off event that the WWE is doing. So in preparation for that, let's see, I'm trying to find the straighttimes.com. Shinsuke did an interview with them, and he touched on how long he wants to wrestle. And here's a little quote from it. I want to wrestle at least 5 more years. I'm 39 now. Baseball player Ichiro Suzuki retired at 45, and he was such an influence for Japanese sportsmen, especially those who lived in other countries. And so I need to wrestle until I'm 45 years old, he said. So I guess that's another 5-6 years. What do you think about Shinsuke's words there, brother?
I like it, man. I could see him going to AEW. I could definitely see him going back to New Japan. I'm not sure how long the WWE has him locked up for right now, but it feels like they're wasting him. And at one time, man, he felt like he could have been the biggest star of the whole company to me.
Yeah, it did, man, and it kind of almost felt like they dropped the ball with him. So do you see, let's say he does wrestle until he's 45, do you see him, spending that entire time with the WWE?
It really depends, man, if they're going to start using him properly, because this guy is a huge star around the world. And look at all the headlines when he came to WWE, and then he wins the Royal Rumble, and then it kind of after that, it just kind of seemed like he got lost in that shuffle again.
Yeah, brother, the never-ending WWE shuffle, brother. It's kind of easy to get lost in it, man. Such a massive machine,
Yeah, it's real easy for some pieces to fall off here and there.
Yeah, speaking of pieces falling off, man, I certainly hope that Mickie James' knee gets better soon, because I heard she injured it I don't know if you've seen that, over the weekend in a house show at a live event in Waco, Texas, during the singles loss to Carmella. It ended abruptly when James went down with a knee injury, and at first people didn't know if it was part of the match or part of the angle or whatever, but Dave Meltzer's evidently confirming that Mickie James is out with a knee injury. So have you seen that?
Yeah, unfortunately, man, Mickie James, in my humble opinion, may be the greatest of all time. I know a lot of people are going to say Trish and Lita, but look at her body of work and how long she's been going at it.
Yeah, look at it, brother. And who doesn't want some MILF and cookies?
No comment.
But no, absolutely, man. Mickie James has been, like you said, dude, look how long her career has spanned, and look what she's done in the ring and everything that she's accomplished. Even if you don't necessarily agree with that comment, you have to respect it, Mickie James has achieved, everything.
I put her as the GOAT, man. I really do. I think she's the greatest women's wrestler of all time. She had that first WWE run that was strong, champion, TNA champion, comes back and is still as good as ever, champion again. Actually, no, I take that back. She hasn't won a championship since she's been back, but she should.
Yeah, she's done a lot, though, and she's really helped Alexa along, when they was pairing them up together for, the better part of the last 18 months. I've really seen Alexa evolve a lot more in the ring.
Oh, yeah, man. Her and Mickie James, I would like to eventually see that as a tag team. It feels like we're going with Alexa and Nikki Cross. And another little shout-out to, a little detail I seen. Ember Moon hit her. I think her move's called the Eclipse. She hit that move on Mickie James one time. It might be the best sell I've ever seen of a move ever, man. Mickey James looked like she was thrown from a car. It was so beautiful.
It was beautiful, brother. It took me back to the days of when The Rock used to sell that stunner, brother. How he would just like jump and jack and backflip all around the ring, brother. But yeah, Mickey James sold that perfectly.
Just amazing, man. Somebody out there made a GIF out of it.
All right, brother. Speaking of jumping and flipping around amazing, we got to hop out for a couple of amazing commercials, but we will be right back after this with segment number 2. Coming Tuesdays to That Wrestling Podcast Network, a family that will push you over the edge.
Damn it, Jezebel, where's my dinner?
The Good Times.
God bless you, Larry Flint.
The Madness.
Damn it, Jezebel, I said 2 cans of Grizzly Mint.
The Personal Moments.
Damn it, can I get some privacy?
Johnny Wildfire and Jezebel Wildfire are the Wildfires.
Somebody call the damn police.
Hello, I'm Richard, but you can call me Dick. And I'm going to talk about something today that not a lot of men really like to talk about. But sometimes after a long day in the saddle, I get a little itching in my nether region. And that's why I got with my friend Peter here and created a wonderful product. You tell him about it, Peter.
Well, my name's Peter. I'll tell you, you got an itch and you giddy up. There ain't nothing better for that itch than Texas ball cream.
That's right, it's Texas Ball Cream. You can pick us up at all your local retailers. Just ask the pharmacist for Texas Ball Cream. Welcome back. Segment number 2. What a show it's been so far today. Now we're back here with Clyde. What's up, brother?
What's up, baby doll? What you doing there?
Man, I'm just doing the show with you, man. What are you doing over there?
Good point. Valid point, gentlemen. Valid points all around.
Man, lots to get into in this segment, brother. Here's what I want to touch on right off the top with you, brother. Did you see that Ric Flair recently listed his Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling?
Yes, I did. I was a little discouraged, but I did see it.
Yeah, Ric Flair listed his Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling in a recent interview with Wrestling Travel. In his eyes, Steve Austin, The Undertaker, Hulk Hogan, and himself would be on that list. And yeah, he thinks he's the number one he thinks Taker's the number 1 pro wrestler of all time too. Just for a little side note, he's got Taker as number 1 of all time.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't argue with anybody over that one.
So what do you think, like, though, like, we've been sharing this around our Facebook groups, and, like, there's been a little bit of, there's a lot of conversation about it, but a few of the comments were, like, Ric Flair shouldn't give his Mount Rushmore. It should be up to the fans and, like, the writers and like, people who are not directly involved in it to actually give an official Mount Rushmore. And what's your thought on that? Like, do you think that Flair should like, Flair's opinion is more valid than anyone else's or less valid, or what do you think about that?
I think Ric Flair's opinion should be respected, and I think they should chill out on him. It's just a lighthearted thing. It doesn't have to be a big deal. And like the late, great Rowdy Piper said, an honest man will tell you Ric Flair's the greatest wrestler of all time.
All right, so you're an honest man. So who's your Mount Rushmore, brother? Since you're, I know you're like a really genuinely honest fellow to the core, brother. So what's your
Mount Rushmore?
Mount Rushmore. 4 people. 4 people.
Okay, let's see. I got Bret the Hitman Hart, Bret the Hitman Hart, Bret the Hitman Hart, and Bret the Hitman Hart sunglasses. There's my 4.
All right, yeah, I figured you would say something like that. I like that, brother. I like that. Is that serious? Is that what you're gonna roll with for today?
Yeah, honorable mention to Bret the Hitman Hart's jacket also.
All right, yeah, I like that, brother. I like that. I can respect that. So here's what I'm going to go with then. I'm going to go with Ric Flair. I am going to put him on my list, brother. Absolutely. How can you make a Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling and leave him off the list? That's just my opinion about it. I'm going to go with John Cena, and not so much because I'm a fan, but because of his entire body of work. These next few choices, some of them are just personal opinion, of course. I mean, everyone could go Hulk Hogan, but I'm going Macho Man. I'm going to put Macho Man on mine, and of course, my 4th one's going to be Bret the Hitman Hart as well, brother.
Beautiful. I love your mountain, brother. Them other 3 guys, amazing gentlemen. I got Macho Man. I think I got him at 2 as my 2nd favorite of all time, brother.
Yeah, this is for favorites. Of course, if you're going to rank them by accomplishments and all that stuff, you got to put Hogan up there, man. But why not show some props to the Macho Man?
Oh yeah, dig it. I like it, Dave.
Did you see that John Moxley arrived in Japan, brother? Did you see the picture he tweeted out of himself at the NJPW dojo the other day?
Yeah, isn't he already the United States champion over there?
I don't know. I just know he's going up against Juice Robinson tonight.
Yeah. I think that might actually already have happened,
Oh,
bro.
did he win it? Did he win the match?
I seen something with him holding the title. I think it already may have happened.
Well, man, I got my days mixed up. You know, sometimes when you're dealing with this international stuff, it like happen on you, and you don't even know it because like you're thinking about the wrong day. You know what I mean, brother?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It gets late at night. I'm on there with Switchblade and the Aussie, man. I'm on Australian time sometimes, bro.
Right, I know. Yeah, we got friends over there in New Zealand and Australia. It's always hard to hook up with them guys, man. So yeah, so the match has already taken place, and Ambrose beat Juice. You said, huh?
Yeah, that's what I seen right before you called earlier. I seen that on there, brother.
Well, I don't know if you've seen a few details emerge too about his NJPW deal, but evidently this deal was struck before the AEW deal, and I don't know how long this NJPW deal runs, but evidently it's going to be more than one match if Moxley's come away with the championship here. So I guess he's kind of, I think his long-term roots are going to be with AEW, and it might end up being a few matches at NJPW, which is pretty cool also.
Yeah, it seems like the AEW is going to be a little more lenient and a little more open-minded on, if this guy can go over here and grab himself a good payday, and more importantly than a good payday, have him a beautiful match, why not let him do it?
Yeah, why not let him do it, brother? And speaking of why not, why not let Dustin Rhodes go to AEW? Like Triple H had no problem with it, and I don't know if you've seen what Dustin had to say on Talk is Jericho recently, but he touched on a number of topics, including an emotional conversation he had with Triple H, shortly after exiting WWE. And here's what he had to say. A few sentences here in this quote, so bear with me. I get out of that meeting and I'm in the car and I'm driving back to the hotel in New York to fly out because it was like an in and out thing. And I get a call back from Hunter. And we're just talking just a little bit. The tears were coming down and it's emotional. He was thanking me for everything I've done for them and for him because I've known him a long time. He went on to say he felt like a weight had been lifted off his shoulders after he was granted his release from WWE, adding that he has recaptured his passion for wrestling since Double or Nothing. What do you think about Dustin's quotes and, kind of where he is in life right now, brother?
I love it, man. I appreciate that for him to share, his real thoughts with all the fans like that. It's a beautiful thing, and there should be more of that in pro wrestling, man. It's like if you leave WWE, you shouldn't be like, let's pretend like everything you've done for us never mattered, and let's make you look as bad as we can on your way out the door. Seems like they're changing. You've seen how they did with Ambrose instead of, they did make him lose a couple of matches I thought he shouldn't lose, but at the end he had his own show,
Yeah, well said,
dude. Seemed like a thank you instead of hey, let's tarnish this guy on the way out.
And like you said, that probably leaves the door open to working with that person in the future a little more than, like you said, burying somebody on the way out the door.
Yeah, it's smart business, man. Because I'm sure Dean Ambrose, and I guarantee even more the Goldust, they're going to be in the WWE Hall of Fame someday.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how could they not be, brother? We got to get Barry Horowitz in there also, man. We got to see what we can do about getting a petition started or something soon, brother.
Yeah, Mr. Technical, he deserves to be in there. Talking about, a guy who showed up, did his job, and did it correctly. He definitely deserves to be in there.
All right, brother, but speaking of burying talent, it's time to play your favorite segment of the day, my favorite segment of the day. We call this one Random Wrestling Knowledge with Clyde. Are you ready, brother?
By God, Jerry Negron, I'm ready to go.
Audience, feel free to play along at home. Every day we ask Clyde 3 random wrestling-related questions, and they're literally coming from out of nowhere. So, are you ready to do this, Clyde?
I am ready, sir. Let's do it.
All right. Here we go. Question number 1. Hot and fresh out the skillet, baby. How many times did Goldberg win the WCW World Heavyweight Championship?
Let's see. Goldberg, WCW Heavyweight Championship. I'm going to say... Oh, man, I want to say 3 times. That's my final answer.
Mr. Producer Man, show me 3 times.
Santa Maria.
Oh, I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. This was actually shocking to me. 1 time.
Yeah, I guess when he beat Hogan in the Georgia Dome. I remember that match. That was maybe one of the highest rated matches they ever had.
Yeah, that was just shocking to me, but I guess, because of the streak and everything and how long he held the title and everything, it just seemed like he had it more, but after that he was chasing it for a while.
Yeah, I was honestly thinking a lot more than that too, but not to be, gentlemen, not to be.
All right, question 2. I'm trying to change the subject. I know what you're trying to do, brother. Here we go. Question 2. How many times did The Undertaker win the Hardcore Championship?
The Undertaker Hardcore Championship. I'm going to say 0, that he never won the title. Final answer.
Mr. Producer Man, show me 0 times. Oh,
Santa Maria.
He was close though. He won it once though. He did win it one time.
I don't even remember that, brother.
Yeah. It's a believable story coming from you, brother. I bet at one time you did know it, but you probably don't remember it. I actually absolutely believe that coming from you, my man. All right, here we go. Here we go, brother. Question 3, baby. You ready? Coming at you.
Yes, sir.
Who did Brock Lesnar face and defeat at WrestleMania 30?
WrestleMania 30, Brock Lesnar. Let's see. Beat The Undertaker. Broke the streak. Final answer.
Mr. Producer Man, show me The Undertaker. Well done. How's it feel, Clyde?
It feels pretty good, but that last question, man, it just brought up that I still don't think The Undertaker should have lost, man.
You don't think he should have lost to Brock, brother?
I don't think he should have lost ever the streak, man, but I guess it does make sense to lose it. If you're going to lose it to somebody like Brock.
Yeah, lose it to somebody that's going to carry on for a while with the company and kind of, that's the rub effect. I guess that's what you call that, but it didn't really rub. It just rubbed the audience the wrong way, but it's supposed to rub off onto Brock, make him look more prestigious, but it didn't. I don't think it quite worked like that.
Yeah, it was something else. That definitely maybe the most shocking moment in the history of wrestling, bro.
Yeah, definitely, dude. I remember seeing stuff for days on social media about that one, brother.
Yeah, it's still a touchy subject to this day. You could, bring up something about it today like we have on here or a post, and get some good feedback.
Speaking of getting good feedback, we've been getting good feedback on these ads, brother, and it's time to hop out and pay a couple bills and listen to a little bit of the madness for a moment here. But thanks for taking a moment to join us on this segment, Clyde, and we're going to hop out, pay these bills, and we will be right back to wrap the show up after this. Introducing the one and only Lock in a Sock. Don't be caught without Lock in a Sock when you need it. Lock in a Sock is fun for the whole family. Even Grandma loves Lock in a Sock. Don't be fooled by these cheap imitations. There is only one Lock in a Sock. For only 3 easy payments of $199.99, you can have your very own Lock in a Sock. But wait, there's more. Call in the next 10 minutes and receive free shipping. That's right, free shipping and processing. Just call 1-800-976-LOCK. Operators are standing by. Lock in a Sock. The following is a paid advertisement for Scrotal Treatment Centers of America. That Wrestling Podcast is not responsible for any products in this ad. Do you suffer from ACE, also known as atypical constant ejaculation? Well, you are not alone. And now, thanks to the Scrotal Treatment Center of America's patented new Semenese technology, you can get your problem taken care of. It's a series of 3 invasive, laser-guided injections that'll have you up and running in no time. That's the Scrotal Treatment Centers of America. Not only am I a spokesman, but I'm a client. Welcome back. Segment number 3. Special guest with us, very special guest, all the way from the Northeast, Mr. Jerry Negron. How you doing today, brother?
Doing good, Money. How's everything with you over there?
Everything's good down here in Louisville, Kentucky, and I always love having you on, brother. Every time I do, I always just think... And now it's time to talk some wrestling, brother. You ready?
Let's talk. Let's do it.
Yeah, I don't know if you had a chance to see what the Super Showdown card was shaping up like, brother, but I was hoping to kind of review and kind of preview, rather, some of these matches with you.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm ready.
Yeah, let's run down the match card, brother. As of right now, we know that the Universal Championship is on the line between Seth Rollins and Baron Corbin. And are you interested in that match at all, brother? What does it do for you?
I really think it's just, this match was just kind of put together, really, because, a lot of people are not going over to Saudi Arabia to participate, and I think they just kind of put Baron Corbin and Seth Rollins in this match.
Yeah, I think so too, brother. I think this is kind of just like a match to tie him over here for a little bit. No offense to Baron, but I don't see any way that Seth drops this title, dude, to Baron, because I know they have Seth booked as of right now, and I know schedule is always subject to change with WWE, but as of right now they have Seth booked to defend the Universal Championship against Nakamura in the Singapore show, which takes place after the Saudi Arabia show. So it's kind of it's kind of easy to see what's coming there.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay, right here, brother. After that, we have the WWE Championship match between Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler. What do you think about that match? I think it's going to be a phenomenal match. Both these guys can go in the ring, brother.
Oh, yeah, definitely. This gives, Kofi Kingston has come a long way in his, 11 years, going on 12 years into the WWE. He's come a long way. And not for nothing, Dolph Ziggler should have had a lot more title opportunities than what he has had in the past. Dolph Ziggler is one of those guys. He's a clutch wrestler now. He is on point. His moves are fantastic. He's safe in the ring with all the other wrestlers. And I think this match is going to be a 5-star match any day of the week.
Yeah, I think so, dude. Like you said, man, both these guys are just great technical artists, and I believe and I'm going to touch on what you said there for a second, too, about Dolph, man. One of the most underutilized guys over the last 5 years is Dolph Ziggler, man. And, I don't know if he's necessarily frustrated with the company. I know he has other passions outside of wrestling, though. But, I don't know if the way he's been used, played into him kind of, cooling on wrestling as a career or not. What do you think about that?
Oh, yeah. You know what? I know he's been doing a lot of comedy, stand-up comedy outside of wrestling, and he's really good. He's really funny, to be honest with you. And I really think the company has, lost interest in him. But every time he comes out, you've got the crowd cheering for him. Everybody loves Dolph Ziggler. I'm telling you, you put a title on this guy again, sky's the limit. I'm telling you.
Well said, brother. And let's move on to this next match here. Roman Reigns versus Shane McMahon. What do you think about that one, brother?
This is a joke. This match is a joke. This match. There's nothing with that. There's no previous rivalries. There's no point of having this match. Now if you were going to tell me if it was going to be Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin, I can see that. Or Roman Reigns and somebody else, Brock Lesnar. You know what I mean? But Shane McMahon, this is horrible, horrible, horrible. This match is going to be horrible.
Wow. Well said, brother. Yeah, I'm not necessarily. This match doesn't really do a lot for me either. I don't know how it's going to. The quality of the match, I don't really know how it's going to be. The two styles might kind of contrast in the ring, and it kind of just feels like they're kind of rushing this McMahon and Roman thing together. Like you said, they're kind of trying to just get some quality matches on the card for the Saudi Arabia show, brother. But it doesn't really do a lot for me either. And I want to move on to this next match right here, this Triple H and Randy Orton match, only because, and I hate to say this, man, I'm just kind of tired of seeing Triple H wrestle. And I say this with this caveat, man. I think he is like possibly the best wrestling executive on the entire planet, dude. I think what he does with NXT is beautiful, and I think whenever he gets the reins to the Raw and the SmackDown products, they're going to greatly improve. Also, I really love his mind in that arena. I love how he treats people as individuals and stuff like that. But I'm just tired of seeing him wrestle, brother. These multi-million-dollar entrances, and then just these retirement match after retirement match. Over the years, I'm just kind of tired of seeing it. What does this Triple H and Randy Orton match do for you?
It's two wrestlers who've had a rivalry since Randy Orton's been in the company. Even when they were in Evolution, and then when Randy Orton had, his stable. For this match, it's got to be, it has to be the nail in the coffin for their rivalry, and for Triple H to I think Triple H is doing a farewell tour. He's trying to get in all the matches that he could with people that he wants to wrestle with one more time. And for Randy Orton, it's not going to hurt his career. It's just going to show that Randy Orton can still go with the best of them. Triple H is a phenomenal wrestler. Randy Orton is definitely a top 5, top 10 wrestler on anybody's list. And for this match to go on, it's going to be a good match. The entrances are going to be good, but at the end of the day, it's just another good match for Randy Orton and Triple H.
Yeah, like you said, dude, it's just it's two big names going at it. It's great. It's great to have those two names on your card. You know, if you're having a huge event like this. So you know, I can see why they're doing that. Absolutely, brother. And I want to move on to a match I actually am interested in seeing. That's Finn Balor defend his Intercontinental Championship against Andrade Cien Almas. And what do you think about this match, brother? This ought to be a technical masterpiece, also.
Oh yeah, this is definitely going to be a great technical match. We're probably going to see Andrade at his best and Finn Balor at his best. Even if he comes as the Demon King or just Finn Balor, you never know what you're going to get with Finn Balor. And I really, truly believe that this match, by far, could steal the show. It could steal the show if it's done right, and depending on where it sits on that card. Because you're looking at Finn Balor, who is a high flyer, technical wrestler. Same thing with Andrade. These two are going to be phenomenal in the ring.
Like you said, brother, I think this could be a show stealer for sure, brother. And it has been confirmed, just so you know, I don't know if you've seen the news, that we will be getting the Demon Finn Balor for this event. So, and like card placement is important, brother. I think they need to place this with some respect and understand that this is going to be a match that can get the crowd really invested into the show. So they need to carefully place this one, brother. I agree.
Yeah, because, you know.
Go ahead, brother.
But, no, with Finn Balor, with his entrance in Saudi Arabia, in that open dome, it's going to be loud and it's going to be shocking.
Absolutely, brother. Going to be very engaging, man. It's going to be very engaging. And another match, really, between the two Behemoth Goliath men right here, brother. We're going to have Braun Strowman taking on Bobby Lashley. And I guess, what do you call this? Like a good old hoss fight. And what do you think about this one, brother?
This match is, I'm telling you, these two are going to hit each other hard. You're going to see the sweat fly off of these guys. You have Braun Strowman, who is, I really think, if you would take Braun Strowman and Mark Henry, put them in a match, you have two rhinos going at each other. And now with Bobby Lashley, you got these two guys who are muscular, who are strong in the ring, who are, I will say, neck and neck in strength. With this match, you're going to see a lot of powerhouse moves. Not a lot of technical, but no high flying. But these two are going to hit each other, and they're going to hit each other hard, really hard.
I totally agree, brother. Going to be a hard-hitting, fast-paced match. Lots of hard-hitting action. You know, between two really believable behemoth and two believable giants, man. I think it's going to be a pretty good match. I can't wait to see these two clash, brother. And after that, we're going to have who knows the order of these matches? We're just kind of review them in any order. But there's going to be a 50-man battle royal. I don't know who all has been announced for that. But do you like these bigger battle royal events? I always find them kind of interesting, pretty entertaining.
I do love the big battle royals, to be honest with you. You know, in WCW, we had the 60-man, 3-ring battle royals. Those were, I don't care. I love the WF Royal Rumble, but the 3-ring, 60-man battle royal was phenomenal. Because you had 3 cameras, 3 rings, 60 men. It was mayhem. With WWE's 50-man battle royal, it's awesome. But I really wish they would just, you know, not have, 2-on-4, or I'd rather see like 6, 8, 10 guys in a ring at once to make it that good. And we know we're going to see some jobbers. We'll probably see a couple of known guys. We really don't know who's going to win this, because Braun Strowman was the champion of the last year's 50-man battle royal. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting, brother. You did a good job of summarizing, pretty much what's going to happen in that event. And I think it's going to be a pretty good show, overall, for the Super Showdown. I really can't wait to see it. So I'm going to be tuning in Friday at 2 p.m. to check it out. And I always want to talk about this with you real quick before we hop off today, dude. We're kind of running long today, brother, but we're doing a great job of banging out these topics. And here's what I want to talk about with you, dude. There's an article here on Bleacher Report right here, dude, that and it's just a speculative article, but it's going to be fun to touch on this. And who better to touch on it with than my man Jerry Negron, Rusev, and 5 underutilized WWE stars who would be perfect for AEW. And so I guess we'll start out with Rusev. What do you think about Rusev? Do you think he's being used right? And do you think that, if not, do you think that he could find a home in AEW eventually?
Rusev is definitely not being used to his caliber. I think for him to go to AEW now is perfect. Take Rusev and Lana, send them on their way. They've asked for their release. They've denied it twice or 3 times. It is time for either give Rusev a title run or let him go.
Well said,
100%.
well said, brother. And I'm going to agree about Rusev only because I think that AEW kind of needs some some Goliath monster type guys, and who better than a guy like Rusev, who's a world. I mean, Rusev Day was the most over gimmick I've seen in the last few years, and everybody knows who Rusev is, man. That he would get a huge pop if he was to ever come out with AEW. So let's kind of rapid fire through these guys, brother. What do you think about Robert Roode? I don't necessarily feel as strong about him as I do Rusev. I kind of like him better on WWE, but I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Robert Roode was great in TNA. When it was Beer Money, that tag team, unstoppable. Robert Roode, when he first came in to NXT, when he first came to, I think it was SmackDown, he was good. Now, he's a joke. I hate to say it, but Robert Roode needs to leave the WWE to go somewhere else. Or to go back to TNA.
Well said, brother. Well said. And what do you think about these two gentlemen? Here's a couple of gentlemen who I think really will fit in at AEW. They'll fit right in, actually, into a kind of a thin tag division. But Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, the Good Brothers, the former Bullet Club brothers of most of these gentlemen on AEW's roster. And I think they'll fit right in at AEW if for whatever reason, their WWE run does come to an end here soon.
That tag team in New Japan Pro Wrestling were unstoppable. You have two guys, basically brothers. You know what? They are brothers because they know each other in and outside the ring. Just like Tully and Arn Anderson, they can just look at each other and know what they want to do and see what they want to do. This tag team, WWE has done them wrong since they walked into the door. The only reason why I think they came, more likely because AJ Styles is going to be there. You have Finn Balor there. You have Nakamura there. You have that kind of New Japan feeling, but it's really not there. WWE just watered them down so bad.
Yeah, I agree, brother. They definitely took the edginess away from them guys. And speaking of Nakamura, he's actually on the list. What do you think about Shinsuke? Do you think that he's going to continue on with WWE with this kind of basically he's been relegated to the mid card rankings, or do you think that he's going to search for greener pastures himself over the last 5 or 6 years of his career?
Nakamura, they did him so dirty. You're going to have the guy win the Royal Rumble and Asuka coming from New Japan Pro Wrestling, and then you're going to have them lose at WrestleMania? Come on. How are you going to have Nakamura? This guy is electric in the ring. Electric. He should have won the WWE title against AJ Styles, knowing that I understand, how you're going to have, you have AJ Styles on the cover of the WWE game, but come on. Are you kidding me? It's the only reason why you kept AJ with the title because he was on a WWE cover? That's stupid. Nakamura, definitely underrated wrestler in WWE.
I agree, brother. I think, at that time, Nakamura was possibly the most over guy in the whole company.
Oh, definitely. Nakamura should be a main character, main eventing pay-per-views, and they just have him just be like, oh, we're going to keep you right here for right now. No, come on. This guy's a star.
And speaking of another person you just touched on in your rant there, brother, and I'm loving your words. I'm loving the passion and emotion coming from Negron today. Let's talk about Asuka. She's actually the last person to sum the list up here. What do you think about the way she's been used? And we haven't hardly seen her on TV any lately. And do you think that there's a possibility that she could end up at AEW? And if she did, do you think she would fit in good on their women's roster?
Oh, yes. You're talking about Asuka. Asuka reminds me of Bulakana. If you know who Bulakana is, and if you don't, I don't know what's wrong with you. Because she reminds me of her. Hard-hitting, powerful, just excellent in the ring. Asuka is probably a top 3 women's wrestler in the WWE as we speak. I don't care who you are. Asuka's definitely a top contender for any Raw, SmackDown women's title. Asuka should have kept her SmackDown title instead of losing it to Charlotte Flair. I thought that was stupid what WWE did, And Asuka definitely is the better wrestler in the women's division.
Do you think that she would fit in good with on the AEW roster if for some reason, and we're just speculating here with this list, people, we're just having some fun. That's what wrestling's all about. But do you think if for some reason, let's say she did end up parting ways with WWE, that you think that she would fit in pretty good on AEW?
Oh yeah, Asuka and AEW, because they're gonna let these wrestlers be themselves, just like how Triple H lets the NXT guys be themselves. That's what AEW's doing, letting wrestlers be themselves, putting on a 5-star match, putting on what people want to see, traditional wrestling at its best.
Well, Negron, thank you very much for speaking of the 5-star match and everything at its best, because this has been a 5-star segment, brother, and you was at your best today, and I appreciate you taking a few moments to join us. It's always fun having on. And before we hop out today, brother, do you have any closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts. I will say, it's kind of, I don't know. Well, I'll tell you like this. If WWE doesn't step up their game, AEW is going to take over professional wrestling. And we are definitely going to see a Monday Night War between AEW and the WWE.
I love it, brother.
And that's all I got to say.
Yeah, we've been calling that for months here on the show. You have too, brother. Clyde has. I have as well. Yeah, I can't wait to see what unfolds here in the fall when the AEW weekly television programming starts. People, check us out on the web out there, thatwrestlingpodcast.com. It's always updated with the craziest, funkiest, freshest, most ridiculous wrestling content you're going to find on the web. And if you like us, put us over. If not, let us know. We'll do a job for you on your show. That's the way we roll right here on That Wrestling Podcast. And having said that, we will catch you guys on the next one. Ooh, yeah. Oh. And you can't teach that. The following is a paid advertisement for Dick Drizzle for Congress 2020. As a local business owner for over 20 years, Dick Drizzle has helped to provide jobs and stabilize our economy. As a city councilman, his Clean Streets initiative have our streets cleaner than ever, and we now have our very own 5K marathon. His humble beginnings and modest lifestyle keeps him connected to the people that matter most. Dick Drizzle, his policies work for you. Vote Dick Drizzle for Congress 2020. The following is a paid advertisement. That Wrestling Podcast is not responsible for any claims, guarantees, or products in this ad. Hey ladies out there, you having trouble getting somebody to pay you a few dollars? Well, contact Paulie and Paul's Intervention, Mediation, and Protection Services today. Intervention.
You need us to intervene, smack a couple guys around? No problem.
Mediation. We can mediate your problem today. Protection.
You need your money, you need it now. We'll go find them, smack them around. Nobody's got to know a thing.
That's Paulie and Paul's Intervention, Mediation, and Protection Services, also known as PIMP.